Let's start with the third exercise. The first question of the third exercise is a sphere of radius r1 encloses a total charge capital Q. If there is another concentric sphere S2 of radius r2 which is greater than r1 and there are no additional charges between S1 and S2, you have to find out the ratio of electric flux. Okay, now let this small sphere whose radius is r1, let this sphere is S1, and the bigger sphere whose radius is r2 is S2. Here you have to find out the electric flux through S1 to S2, given that inside S1 sphere Q charges enclosed. We know that the electric flux according to Gauss law is given by Q upon epsilon naught. So through S1 it is Q upon epsilon naught, whereas the electric flux through S2, how much charge this S2 charge also encloses? It also encloses Q charge. So through S2 also the flux is Q upon epsilon naught. So what is the ratio of the electric flux? It is 1:1. Then the second question is two large thin metallic plates which are parallel and close to each other. The plates having the surface charge densities of the opposite signs, that is, it is plus sigma and minus sigma, two parallel sheets. You have to find out the electric intensity to the left of the plates, to the right of the plates, and in between the plates. We know that whenever two parallel charge sheets, one having plus sigma surface charge density and the other having minus sigma surface charge density, the electric field intensity to the left of the plates is 0. This we have already discussed in the video part. And to the right of the plates, the B part, to the right of the plates also the electric field is 0. Whereas the electric field only exists between the plates, and how much is it equal to? It is equal to sigma upon epsilon naught. Sigma is given as 17 into 10 raised power minus 22 coulomb per meter square, and the value of epsilon naught is 8.854 into 10 raised power minus 12. On calculating it, what do you get? 1.92 into 10 raised power minus 10 Newton per coulomb. The next question is define electric flux. We know that the electric flux is given as, electric flux is defined as E ds cos theta, that is the number of electric field lines crossing a given area. And what will be its SI unit? We know that electric flux is equal to E dot the surface area. So its SI unit will be Newton per coulomb into meter square. A charge Q is enclosed by a spherical surface of radius r. If the radius is reduced to half, how would the flux through that surface change? We know that the electric flux is Q upon epsilon naught, where Q is the charge enclosed in that surface. If we reduce the half, still the charge inside is Q only. So the flux would remain the same, because according to Gauss law, E dot ds is, which is the flux, is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. So here Q is not changing, so the electric flux is also the same. Question number 4 is a charge Q is placed at the center of a cube of side L. What is the electric flux through each phase? We know that the electric flux according to Gauss law is Q upon epsilon naught. And as the cube is having 6 phases, so through each phase it would be 1/6 of it, that is Q upon 6 epsilon naught. Next question is two charges minus 2q and plus q are located at the points A0 and 4A0 respectively. What is the electric flux due to these charges through a sphere of radius 3a with its center at the origin? So at this point at A0 the charge is minus 2q, and at 4A0 the charge is plus q. Now we have to draw a sphere of radius 3a whose center is lying at the origin. So here we draw a sphere of radius 3a whose center is at the origin. Now you have to find out the electric flux through this sphere. We know that according to Gauss law, the electric flux is equal to the net charge enclosed inside the sphere upon epsilon naught. So what is the charge? This plus q is outside the Gaussian surface. So it is minus 2q upon epsilon naught. The next question is, from the figure, find out the ratio of the electric flux through S1 to S2. Okay, S1 is enclosing 2q charge, whereas S2 is enclosing 4q plus 2q, that is 6q charge. Now here you have to find out the ratio of the electric flux through it. The electric flux through S1 sphere is, according to Gauss law, 2q upon epsilon naught, whereas the electric flux through the sphere 2 is equal to 6q upon epsilon naught. So the ratio of phi S1 to phi S2, that is through sphere 1 to sphere 2, the electric flux is equal to 2q upon 6q, that is 1:3. So the ratio of the electric flux is 1:3. Now in the second part it is asked that how will the electric flux through S1 change if the medium of dielectric constant epsilon r is introduced in this sphere S1. Okay, then the flux through S1 will be given as q upon epsilon, that is permittivity of the medium. Q is how much? The charge enclosed is 2q. And what is the permittivity of that medium? K into epsilon naught. K is also equal to relative permittivity, epsilon r into epsilon naught. So the electric flux through the small sphere S1 will be 2q upon epsilon r into epsilon naught when this sphere S1 is having a medium, having some dielectric medium whose dielectric constant is epsilon r. Question number 7 is, use Gauss law to derive the expression for the electric field due to straight uniformly charged infinite line of charge density lambda. We know that the electric field due to infinite long line charge is given by lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught into r. This we have derived using Gauss law. Okay, so from here we see that E is inversely proportional to R. So in the second part, we have to draw a graph to show the variation of E with R. So how will be the graph? As E is inversely proportional to R, it will be a curved line. The graph will be inversely proportional. Okay, now the third part is find the work done in bringing a charge Q from perpendicular distance R1 to R2. The small amount of work done we know is given by F into dr. Okay, and if Q charge, here the charge is Q placed in electric field, so the force is equal to Q into E into dr. Now the total amount of work done in moving from R1 to R2, we integrate both sides. The integration of dw is W, and the right hand side QE into dr, and the limits will be from R1 to R2. Substituting E for infinite long line charge, the electric field is given by lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught into R into dr. Now the limits are from R1 to R2. Lambda into Q upon 2 pi epsilon naught outside the integration sign, and it will be integrated 1 upon r dr. And we know that the integration of 1 by r dr is log to the base E r. So the integration of 1 by r is log to the base E, that is ln r, in the limits R1 to R2, and this we solve by upper limit. How we solve it? Upper limit minus the lower limit. So lambda into q upon 2 pi epsilon naught log to the base e r2 minus log to the base e r1. Okay, and we know that log a minus log b is log a upon b. So it can be written as log to the base e r2 upon r1. So this is the amount of work done in moving the charge q from r1 to r2. Let's move to the next question, question number 8. Two parallel uniform sheets having surface charge densities plus sigma minus 2 sigma. Okay, now here you have to find out the electric field between the two sheets. This is the first part. Second part is to the left of the sheets and the third part is to the right of the sheets. Okay, now due to this plus sigma surface charge density, that is positive charge is uniformly distributed. So due to this, let the electric field due to this sheet is E1. First part will do it. The direction of the electric field due to plus sigma surface charge density sheet is E1. Due to minus 2 sigma, that is it is negatively charged, this sheet is negatively charged, and we know that the electric field will be towards this negative charge. So the electric field, the direction of the electric field are in the same direction. So the net electric field in between the sheets is equal to E1 plus E2. Due to one sheet, we know that the electric field is sigma upon 2 epsilon naught sigma upon 2 epsilon naught, whereas E2 is 2 sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. Here we won't take the negative sign. For this negative sheet, we have already drawn the direction. So this is equal to 3 sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. Now here you will write the direction of this electric field as both the electric fields are in the same direction. So this will be acting towards or directed towards right. Now the second part to the left of the two sheets, due to this positive first sheet, the electric field will be pointing away. This is the direction of E1. Due to the second sheet, let the electric field is E2 as it is the negative sheet. So the electric field is E2 which is pointing towards the negatively charged sheet. So the electric field in this region as they are acting in the opposite direction. So it is E2 minus E1. E2 here is 2 sigma upon 2 epsilon naught and E1 here is sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. So simplifying it, we get sigma upon 2 epsilon naught, and what will be the direction? As E2 is greater than E1, so it will be directed towards right, along the right direction. Now in the third region, that is to the right of the second sheet. Again, the electric field due to plus sigma, that is due to positive charge, will be pointing away. Due to negative charge will be pointing towards. Again, the two electric fields are in the opposite direction. So the net electric field is E2 minus E1. E2 is due to the second sheet 2 sigma upon 2 epsilon naught, and E1 here is sigma upon 2 epsilon naught, and this is equal to sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. Okay, but what will be the direction over here? Here the direction will be along E2. Why? Because E2 is greater, it will be along E2, and E2 is acting towards left, so it will be directed towards left. Question number 9. A spherical conducting shell of inner radius R1, outer radius R2 has a charge Q. A charge small q is placed at the center of the shell. What is the surface charge density on the inner surface, outer surface of the shell? Okay, so it is given that, let this is the center. So this small spherical shell is of radius R1. Okay, the inner radius is R1 of this spherical shell and the outer radius is R2. Okay, this outer radius, it has a charge capital Q. This is having a charge, outer radius, it is having a charge Q. Now, a charge small q is placed inside. Now you have to find out the surface charge density on the inner surface. Due to this plus q, that is due to induction, here minus q charge will come and here plus q charge will come. So the total charge on the outer surface will be capital Q plus small q, whereas on this inner surface minus q. Why? Because q charge is placed inside. So due to induction minus q charge. Now the surface charge density on the inner surface. Surface charge density is charge per unit area. What is the charge? Minus q. And what is the area of this sphere? 4 pi r1 square. So the surface charge density on the inner surface is minus q upon 4 pi r1 square. Whereas the second part is outer surface of the electric shell. On the outer surface, how much is the charge? Capital Q plus small q. So what will be the surface charge density? Charge per unit area. Charge is how much? Capital Q plus small q. And what will be the area of this spherical shell? It will be 4 pi r2 square. Then C part is the electric field inside a cavity with no charge in it is zero, independent of the fact whether the shell is spherical or not. Okay, so the electric field will be zero. Here B part is write the expression of the electric field. Expression of the electric field at a distance x. Okay, we have to find out at this point P, which is x distance from the center of the shell. Electric field we know is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon the distance square. What is the total charge? This will be the total charge q plus capital Q. And what is the square of the distance? It appears as if the whole charge is concentrated at the center. So q upon q upon x square. So this will be the expression of the electric field at a point P, which is at x distance from the center of the shell. It is appearing as if the whole charge capital Q plus Q is at the center. So the electric field is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q plus capital Q divided by x square. Okay, and the electric field inside the cavity, if there is no charge, then the electric field is zero in it. Question number 10 is, if the net electric flux, this had come in 2020, 1 mark, if the net electric flux through a closed surface is zero, what can we infer? We infer that there is no net charge enclosed in that surface. So there is no net charge enclosed in the surface. This is the correct option. Okay, let's move to the next question. Question number 11, which had come in 2020 for 5 marks. Using Gauss law, derive the expression for the electric field due to a spherical shell. Okay, the first part is x is less than r. That is, we have to find inside the charged spherical shell. We know that we have already derived in the video part. The electric field inside the electric shell is, inside the charged electric shell is zero using the Gauss law we had found out. The second part is outside. Outside it is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square at a distance r, if we are finding out why, because it appears as if the whole charge is concentrated at the center. Here r is equal to, it is given as x. So this it can be written as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon x square. Okay, now here q we have to write in terms of surface charge density. So q is equal to surface charge density into area of the spherical shell. So 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q can be written as sigma into 4 pi r square, the surface area of the spherical shell, upon x square. On solving it, we get sigma r square upon epsilon naught into x square. The next B part is, an electric field is uniform and acts along plus x direction. and the value of the electric field is 200 Newton per Coulomb for x greater than 0, and for x less than 0, that is along this direction, the electric field is minus 200 Newton per Coulomb. That is, the magnitude is the same, only it is acting in the opposite direction, that is in the negative x-axis. A right circular cylinder of radius 20 centimeter, of length 20 centimeter. Okay, so this length, the total length is 20 centimeters. That is 10 plus 10. This length is 20 centimeters. And the radius is 5 centimeters. It is drawn, which is having its center at the origin. Okay, so this is plus 10 and this one is minus 10. Find the net outward flux. We know that flux is equal to, according to Gauss law, it is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. Here the flux will be equal to electric field into the surface area. Okay, the surface area of it, of the circular part, is acting normal, that is along the direction of the electric field. And here also the surface area is acting, this is the direction of the surface area, which is acting along the electric field. So the angle between the electric field and surface area of the circular part is 0 degree. So it is equal to E into S for the circular part plus E into S for this circular part, that is twice E into S, where S is the surface area of the circular part. If we see on the cylindrical part, the surface area of the cylindrical part is normal to the surface and this is the direction of the electric field. The angle between them is 90 degree. So the flux to the cylindrical part is 0. So the flux is existing only for the circular parts, twice E into S. Electric field is given as 200 Newton per Coulomb and the surface area will be pi r square. Okay, the radius is given as 5 centimeter, that is 5 into 10 raised power minus 2 meter, 2 into 200 into pi into 5 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 meters, square of it. On simplifying it, what do you get? Pi only. That is, the answer is 3.14 Newton meter square per Coulomb. Then you have to find out the net charge inside it. For finding out the net charge, you will use the Gauss law. Pi is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. That is, the charge is equal to pi into epsilon naught. So the flux you got it here, 3.14 into the value of epsilon naught is 8.854 into 10 raised to the power minus 12. So simplifying, you will get the answer to be 2.78 into 10 raised to the power minus 11 Coulomb. Okay, so that's it. We have discussed the board questions, the past 5 years board questions in this part. And now we'll start with the chapter number 2. So the next video will be for chapter number 2. Thank you.